What's up, everyone? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm your host, Bogart Scott-Free. We're going to get right into this thing.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
What is up, everyone? It's week 9, Aaron Rodgers-less week. Jake, I remember. Well, first of all, welcome, Jake. Welcome.
Thank you.
And as always, we have Bogart. And Jake, you're a Green Bay fan, if I remember right, correct?
Yeah. We can go ahead and rip that Band-Aid off real quick here.
Yeah. It just came into my mind when I said Aaron Rodgers-less. For some reason, that is one thing I remember is who people's favorite teams are.
No, on the show docket, it clearly said, "Open up the show, bag on Jake's team."
Check it off. Success so far.
Awesome. Just before we even get into anything, I did see a bunch of memes and things like this about Aaron Rodgers. Did you guys? I'm assuming you have. Mm-hmm. My favorite one was Karen Rodgers, though. That was definitely my favorite.
There was Aaron Rodgers.
That was a great one as
too.
well. Yeah,
they're fun.
Yeah. Sorry, Jake.
It happens.
They're only the number one team in all of the league right now.
Yeah, I mean, week 1, the panic was amazing from people, though. People were completely hate Aaron Rodgers. They went from worshiping the man to despising him in seconds.
I was out of the country for week 1. I was over in Ireland and I didn't even watch the game. And I just looked at the score afterwards. So I was like, well, there goes the season. I was the overreactor. That was me.
Those are my favorite, though. That's what week 1 is all about, is overreacting, just all the way to the wind. Just throw everything up in the air, burn everything down.
I have a dumb question. In Ireland, are the Irish pubs called Irish pubs or just...
They were not called Irish pubs. They did. A lot of them didn't even have pub in the name. It was just the name, whoever the person was. And it was just Mickey's. There it was Hank's or whatever the hell.
Do they have American bars or anything like that there?
Oh,
I mean, not that they had Americanized stuff. They had very,
but it's not labeled
stuff, brew pubs, that were
yeah. But they don't label it American pub.
No, and they all close at 11:30, which blew my mind. All the pubs close at 11:30. Yeah. I thought I was just getting kicked out for being unruly. Turned out that's just when everybody gets kicked out.
But also, you were being kicked out for being unruly.
Potentially. Yeah, potentially. That was their nice way of doing it. They're like, "Oh, sorry, we're closed."
They're just really polite. They're like, "We're just going to kick everyone out. He's ruined the night."
I have a dumb theory. It's probably because they'll always fight after 11:31. You know what I mean?
That snaps into action.
Yes.
I buy it.
Okay. I'm going to go through some injuries real quick. First of all, the obvious, we got Derrick Henry out. What are your guys' expectations there?
I like McNichols. Immediately. You know what I mean? Because I also think it's going to be a negative game script. But I guess if you're in a pinch, you can start Peterson for everyone that blew their fab or whatever. Maybe he's good for 8 to 12 carries, maybe, you know what I mean? And this is a team that if you look at their resume, they've beat the Bills and they've beat the Chiefs. So, maybe these are they're big game hunters. And if that is the case, and they're whooping the Rams' ass, then maybe Peterson is big here. But I adopt the theory that the Rams are going to be getting in that thing, and Jeremy McNichols is probably going to pile up like 6 or 7 targets, and hopefully he goes like 5 for 7 or something like that. You know what I mean? Just real cheap PPR.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be dump off city for him there. So I agree with McNichols. Like, and the Rams just added Von Miller to their squad, to an already terrifying squad. Is he suiting up today?
No,
That's what I was going to say. He may not be suiting up. It's a game time decision, I believe.
No,
okay.
I read earlier before this that he's not going to suit up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I woke up way too early.
I still think dump off city applies here. So yeah, if you can trust anybody, I agree with McNichols there.
Yeah. I agree. AP's the name brand, right? Like everyone's flocking to him, all your just like average fans, because they're like, it's Adrian Peterson. Yeah, but it's also 36-year-old Adrian Peterson.
And and for what it's worth, Julio and AJ Brown, like we haven't really seen. We've only seen it 3 times together this year, like 3 games where they played together, and like it does tremendously open everything up underneath. And Ryan Tannehill, he can sling it, man. You know what I mean? And he does take what the defense gives him when he's in passing situations. So that it's going to be dump off city for sure.
Man, Adrian Peterson and Julio. Imagine this team 8 years ago. Latavius Murray is out doubtful for the Ravens.
He's out already. I think.
Okay, nice. I need to update all these. We got James Robinson. Is there any change on his status you're aware of? I saw last I saw is a game time decision.
Not yet, but we should get it in because right now they're doing warm-ups, so we should
be getting it soon.
Or like in what
I mean, Carlos Hyde, I think, is a great plug and play player if you have James Robinson, so you have a need.
If you're plugging, if by plug and play is you mean like trash, but
yeah, if you're desperate at running back is what
I mean. It's going to be great volume for sure. It's going to be great volume, but it's probably going to be crappy production because it's still the Bills. They're like the number 2.
Oh yeah,
they're like the number 2 defense overall right now.
You're just hoping for a touchdown at that point.
Yeah, or if they could, or maybe even a couple of cheap dump offs too. But I mean, Agnew's kind of been that guy in that range. So
I'm hoping for a goal line carry with Carlos Hyde.
Yeah,
just the one.
Yeah, just a goal line carry. That's all I want. He falls in the end zone, and I'm happy.
If he doesn't, you got it. Like, look, I called it.
Let's help Jimmo out here. He's got Jordan Howard, Kendrick Bourne, Visca, or Jeff Wilson.
Ooh, did Howard get reactivated get brought back up off a practice squad? Because he went right back down after last week's game. I don't know. Is he on the active roster today?
I'm checking as we speak.
Because that's brutal. I would go Bourne. If Howard's active, I'd go Howard. Otherwise, I'd go Bourne.
You know what? I'm gonna go JW. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna go JWJ. I know I'm wearing the hat, but like if he's back, like who is it? I think Trey Sermon's already a healthy scratch. Did they announce that? Because I was reading on one of these little.
I believe so. I saw that, and what's
Eli?
What's his name? Mitchell's banged up too, questionable.
And like with all these variables, I would go JWJ. I mean, and you know what is the trip though is Jordan Howard has a phenomenal matchup here. It's a cluster. It's a cluster F, you know what I mean? Of all the running backs there, Boston Scott, what's his name? Kenneth Gainwell. So, but he got 12.
Do they know that Gainwell's still on their team?
I mean, when it's a negative game script, they remember. They're like, every time we're losing, it's this guy.
Jordan Howard.
I feel like they blame him for it.
That's probably true. Jordan Howard is basically Carlos Hyde, who's going to get like 4 more goal line attempts, I guess, against a better matchup. That's my only reason for liking him.
Yeah, I feel like Jeff Wilson is the highest floor or highest ceiling here, but also probably the lowest floor because he could not see a snap.
But you know what he will see snaps though, because it's just Jermichael Hasty, and if Trey Sermon's a scratch, see, but actually Trey Sermon, he's still projected right now, so maybe he isn't a scratch, because I read he was assumed. I mean, he was set to be a healthy scratch for the game, because it's just all the variables. But yeah, I guess Kendrick Bourne's the only one that doesn't have question marks outside of Carolina being like a bad matchup.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna move on to this other question.
He should go Jordan Howard there. I'm serious. I forgot, because there's still what's his name? Jacoby Myers, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there's still other variables for that slot position.
Keenan Allen, Robert Woods, or Brandon Cooks start 2 PPR.
Keenan Allen's in there, and Brandon Cooks.
I love Cooks' matchup this week. It's going to be the feast that we didn't get to see for the last few weeks. And with Tyrod Taylor coming back in, like, this could legitimately be a 150-yard gain for Brandon Cooks. So I'm super excited for him.
Yeah, the Dolphins are really bad on defense this year.
And the Dolphins, Tua is out. They said he's not ready to come back, so they'll have Jacoby Brissett there. I'm not sure how much of a downgrade that is, but still, should help the Texans stay in this game.
Tua has a middle finger, a left middle finger, but he's a lefty, so
yeah.
And
I love I want my answer to be Robert Woods, but I can't. Keenan Allen's got to be the other one.
Woods is so unreliable this year, and this is a good matchup for him too. Like, there's no bad matchup amongst the group here, I don't think, but it's so hard to trust.
Yeah, Cooper. It's always a good matchup for Cooper Kupp, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the Robert Woods thing. Like, it's splitting hairs between Keenan Allen. I mean, the secondary, the way the secondary for the Eagles is actually they're playing well this year. So but they do give up receptions to the slot receivers. So that's Keenan Allen.
I was waiting a little bit to get into this segment because I was hoping that Miles would make it here, but he didn't make it, and that's okay. We're still going to get into this. All right, so Jake, I know you're probably not familiar with this, but this is a segment that we do where I give you 3 stats, and one of them I made up. So it's false, and you got to try and guess which one of the 3 is the lie.
Jake, I want to tell you something. You're going to win this game.
I'm amazed that Bogard, he has yet to win, and he has an amazing memory.
Every week, I break it down exactly what I think about each one he gives us, and I have it right, and I just pick the wrong one.
It's like when you're tinkering with your lineup, and then afterwards you're like, I knew it. All right.
Always the tinker.
So stat number 1, Donovan People-Jones leads all wide receivers in catch percentage.
Okay.
I threw that, like, I made this one with, OBJ in mind. Patrick Mahomes has the second most first downs of all QBs. And then Derrick Henry has been the fastest player on the field with the ball this year.
Okay, so I think Derrick Henry ran for 23 miles an hour at one point, and DPJ, he's had some big plays, and he's not really been on the stat sheet otherwise. So I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm not gonna think too much about this because You look at Patrick Mahomes and them, they average 18 points a game versus like the 30 burgers we're used to them, right? So I'm going to say that that's a lie. He is not second in third down completions.
Yeah, we arrived to the same answer, Bogard, but with a different thought process, because my mind immediately went to, it's a Pat Mahomes stat. He always looks so good on paper historically. This year, it's not been the case for him or that whole offense. So immediately that stuck out. But same deal. Like, I'm going to go, that's the hoodwink here.
Unfortunately, you are both incorrect. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I grabbed that one, because when I saw it, I was like, this can't be true. Like, does not look correct. Derrick Henry is not the fastest player. Jonathan Taylor, the last 2 weeks actually, has been set the fastest time.
Oh, he ran in 23 miles.
Yes. Derrick Henry is actually the
21.
third fastest time.
He ran 21, right?
Yeah, 21.08.
How can I know these things?
Still a good knowledge bit you brought up, though. I mean, that's impressive that you remembered it was 23 miles an hour.
You know what's crazy is, like, I always, when those things pop on the screen, like the next gen stats, like it polarize, it sears into my memory, like, because it's like useless information, but it's just cool. It's like, oh wow, because did run for 23, and he broke his current record of the year at 22 from last week.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna get back to some injuries.
9 weeks in a row. 9 weeks in a row. I can't get one. There was even one 2 weeks ago where I had it, and then you go, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, you know what? And I had it. That would have been my 1 point. Oh, it's me versus the world.
It's you versus you, Bogart. You're just in your way.
His own mind.
The earth is my turf.
All right. So Saquon Barkley's out again. What do you guys think this week for Booker?
Booker, this is not a case of crappy volume, because he's getting good volume. He's seeing 75% of the snap count out of the backfield, and
that sounds right. Yeah,
this is a good matchup. The Raiders they're fugazi against the run, and they're going to send hella pass rush like they do. So he's going to get some dump offs like he's been. You know what I mean? Would you start him over, let's say, Josh Jacobs? Yeah, because ever since Basacci, hell of a name, right? Basacci took over, and he's like, we're paying this guy Drake, we're using this guy Drake, and I also think it's just allowing Jacobs to get more healthier, because he's just always banged up. You know what I mean? Yeah.
This is a good game for Booker, and everything is so nasty this week for running back that it's almost impossible to sit that guy. Like, we're talking about Jordan Howard and Devonta Freeman potentially being relevant plays this week. Like, you can't shake a stick at Booker.
Man, this one I feel like is going to be hard. Who would you rather start between Booker and Cordell Patterson?
Patterson.
Okay. I have Patterson quite a bit higher than him, but
because Corduroy Pippen, with no Ridley, he sees, he sees upwards of 85-90% of the snap count. That's more opportunity means more fantasy. I mean, more snap count means more fantasy opportunity, right? And they throw the ball to the running back position. I think it's the third most in the NFL target share. It's Arthur Smith. You know what I mean? Yeah. Arthur Smith, it's all he knows, right? How about this? But I don't know if it counts if you're throwing it to the running back position when your running back is also a wide receiver. Man, we'll take it. But hey, listen, here's as the resident revenge narrative expert, I have to point out that this is a Devontae Booker revenge game.
Touche.
Yeah, I forgot about
that in enough. But I can't sit Patterson until he has a bad game. It's just at that point. I can't do it until he has a bad game.
We're halfway through the season.
Close. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, but definitely Booker over over Jacobs. I just don't like Jacobs. I don't like the way he walks. I don't like the way he talks. He's not for me.
Sam Darnold still he's questionable coming back from that concussion still, which is interesting.
You could
he's
questionable at that.
Huh?
You could have just said he was questionable and just left it at that. Like, that's him in a nutshell. Like everything in life is questionable, Sam.
Latavius Murray, I believe, is out. He was doubtful, so I'm just going to assume out, and I don't know how much.
Out. We looped around on this one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, with Jameis Winston out, like, how do you guys feel about that offense in general?
I mean, I still love Alvin Kamara because I think the thing was overblown last year of Kamara's stats with and without, Breeze there. Mm-hmm. And like, he's foolproof. So he's great. And is there anybody else that I was starting there anyways? No. Like, I wasn't starting any other player on that roster before the Jameis injury. So I'm not starting them now.
So here's how I envision the Saints moving forward. It is actually how I envision them to be, because I thought Taysom Hill was gonna be the week 1 starter. Until that preseason game, right, against the Jags, then everyone's like, oh, it's Jameis. But before that, I thought they were just gonna be a power run team. They got a good offensive line, you know what I mean? And you have a mobile QB with Taysom, so you could still do this with Trevor Siemian because you're still gonna have packages with Taysom Hill, right? You know what I mean? There even be times where Siemian is not even on the field. You know what I mean? But you have Mark Ingram now, familiar with the system. And then you obviously have Kamara, who's just an absolute beast. So I could see this team trying to run the ball like 30 times as a team. You know what I mean? Like as a team, maybe 30 plus times. You know what I mean? And I think with Siemian, he's more competent to dump it down to Kamara. We like that. I mean, I remember he had a history of doing that with like C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman back when when they were with the Broncos. So I like this, especially immediately against Atlanta, because they're ass on defense.
This is completely unrelated, but I had read this morning. The Rams' last first-round pick was Jared Goff in 2016. And they don't have another one till 2014. Did Jared Goff ruin the draft for the Rams?
Yeah, they said our first round for us. This is what treacherous.
We can't draft. Let's just trade those away. More bad teams should do that, but nobody has the self-awareness that the Rams front office has with that. They just keep trying to make it work.
That's what I do in Madden. When I play Madden, I trade all my first-round picks away to get good players.
I like it.
I'm gonna keep going with injuries, but first we got a special message for your bus of the week from Jay the Plug.
What's up, gentlemen? Yeah. Thanks so much for having me again. I, of course, am Jay the Plug, here with the Plugs. Week 9 busts. The Atlanta Falcons. There you have it. The Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan, Cordell Patterson, Pitts, Russell Gage, Tajay Sharp, just sit them all. Sit them. There you go. Back to you guys.
Not a monster, he said. You're right, Matthew. I'm not a monster. I'm a nice guy. I like to help people when I can. I give to charities. I mean, I don't try to scare anybody. I don't need to scream at the camera and woo and throw the creatine in my face and do all that silliness and the black paint. It's cute. I don't need it. But I will tell you that whenever you said the things that you said, you definitely woke up a sleeping giant. Do you know what a Leviathan is, Matthew? Go look it up whenever you have time. I don't have time right now, but understand that when it comes to fantasy football, when it comes to any of this life, I run it. Small things to a giant. You ever heard that? Everything that you've said, small things to a giant. Because that's what I am. I'm bigger than you. I'm better than you. Understand that the Gucci chains, the watches, the top hats, and the clothes, none of that stuff matters, bud. Nothing. None of that. The only thing that matters to me is the platinum belt that I'm going to have around my waist, showing the world that I am better than you at fantasy football. Yeah. And trust me, when I get that belt from Trophy Smack, one of the official sponsors, right there, you'll be the first to know because, hey, I'm a nice guy.
That last look terrified me so much. It terrified me to my very core.
If you have ever seen Jay in person, he is actually Leviathan. He is like 6'8" and like 280 pounds of pure muscle.
Oh, so he's terrifying sitting down, and that's not even the worst of it. Okay, good to know.
It's crazy.
Good to know.
He was legit a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Man. That's why I decided I was going to let him win in the Pace League before we started. I didn't want to piss him off. That's why I'm doing so bad, not because my team is horrible.
I might catch an L this week, man. I don't like my lineup.
Yeah. Have you seen our Pace League, Jake?
No, I've not seen this. What's the deal?
It's our charity league that we have going with we have a couple big names in it. We got Darren Waller who's in it, Danny Woodhead, and then my personal favorite is T-Pain.
Yeah.
Yes.
T-Pain.
Yeah. We have a few other people, like Adam Ranks in it and some other people from NFL Network. It's a great league. It's a lot of fun. And then me and Bogart are in it, and Jay.
Shout out Florio. Shout out,
Marcus Grant. Yeah.
It's funny because I've never been a name dropper, but that is fun.
It sucks when you get beat by T-Pain though.
Does it? I'd be flattered. I'd be honored to be beat by T-Pain, quite frankly.
I know.
I beat T-Pain. I posted our screenshot of our matchup, and I put all I do is just win in the background. And I had to do it. But I felt like in that moment, the fantasy gods might have said, hit me with the because the fantasy gods don't like arrogance. Yeah.
He posted it as well. T-Pain did with like the score because he lost. And he's like, this hurts. And I replied, don't worry, I feel your pain. I was pretty proud of that.
Pun City.
Yes.
It's weird. Like,
it's like a pun.
I still feel like we're being catfished, though. Even though he's like posting videos and stuff, I'm like, that can't really be T-Pain in our league. It's an impersonator.
Do you guys know how good of a singer he is? I'm sorry for the detour. I didn't realize how good of a singer he was until I watched this documentary about auto-tune.
Yeah.
And like he got so much crap because he was always auto-tuned in his songs. And then like they show him singing in a library, just like him and a mic. And it was the most beautiful thing I've heard in some time. Dude's good.
I'm actually an engineer. Like I'm a sound engineer for real. And like auto-tune, we in the beginning we used to use it just to pitch shift. Like, what I mean? If we had a singer singing and there was one part, like the take was so good, but there was one part where they went off, we could easily fix that. You know what I mean? Then there was other programs like Melanine, and there was different ones, but auto-tune was always that one. And what T-Pain did is he kind of threw it back like Rodgers Zapp in them, or like George Clinton in them with the funk era of with the where they had the tube in their mouth, they had the vocoder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But see, back then they would have the tube in their mouth and they're playing the keys while they sing. So whatever they sing, they're playing in the key. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a new version of that. And and then like, I swear to God, every song you hear on the radio has some form of auto-tune on it, one way or another.
All right. I'm going to bring us back to some football, though.
Yeah.
All right.
Keenan Allen or Hollywood Brown non-PPR, and why?
Ooh. Hollywood Brown and don't play in non-PPRs.
Why you go with Hollywood, Bogard?
Because when you look at a standard like kids, because we love PPR because Keenan Allen can go out there and get 8 catches for 40 yards, but that's only 4 points in a standard. So like Minnesota secondary, they're like they're in the 20s against the pass. So we love that. And Bateman, Sammy Watkins, they're all playing, but that just means that Hollywood could be that burner down the field. And all you need is you get one big one, and it goes for 50 yards. That's probably what Keenan Allen could put up for you in a standard if he's not getting a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have my rankings done in half point, and I have Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 11 and Hollywood at 14. So they're almost, if you take away the PPR, half point PPR, I'd probably have Marquise Brown just ahead of him.
Marquise Brown, his target market share is nice too, and like this isn't the Ravens that we're used to, where they're running at a high clip. You know what I mean? Because Lamar's going to lead this team in rushing or in rush attempts this game, and they're going to throw the ball like upwards of 30 times. Like this is just what they've been doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and look at what the Dallas receivers did against Minnesota last week. Like 2 of them went over 100 yards. Cedric Wilson had 83 yards and a touchdown. So Rashad Bateman, like, I know he didn't ask about him, but I would also be throwing him into my lineups if I have the room.
Yeah, dude, like ever since Rashad Bateman stepped onto the field, he's been leading that team in targets. He's a play.
Yeah, I love Bateman.
Yeah. Do we have news on him? Like just real quick, because I know we're getting time. They should be releasing some stuff because he was a game time decision too.
I haven't had time to check. Honestly,
go ahead, my bad. I've been veering us off.
You're good. I'm trying to pull up Bateman right now, see if there is anything. I don't see any news on him yet.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man, so David Montgomery should be back this week.
We have to look because today they're eligible to take them off IR. I mean, they're not eligible. Today would have to be the day. I mean, so
yeah.
Monitor that.
Because what's his name's out as well, right?
Daniel.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Would you start Montgomery if he's coming back today and today's the day he comes back? Like no practices.
I'm not into it. I'm personally not into it. I know we're talking about how gross running backs are right now, but like he's just coming back his first game. I don't think they're gonna overwhelm him with touches out of the gate. But like you can't bank on it because they can activate him today. But what happens pregame, on Monday night if he doesn't actually get the go? Now you have to take that 0 because there's nobody you can pivot to. I don't think in that game. I mean, maybe if you have a flex where you can shove him in there for now, go for it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like if you have the ultimate pivot and you have Herbert, that I would not be afraid to start Montgomery because this is a dumbass team. You know what I mean? Like this organization is not smart. So like they will bring them back and thrust them into full action. You know what I mean? And Matt,
that's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, so, I mean,
I don't know. I remember 2 years ago when Matt Nagy was like, I'm not an idiot. I know we need to give Montgomery the ball more. And then the next week he had 8 carries and I was so mad.
Yeah. But, listen, the next year he had it right. And since then it's kind of been, when Montgomery's there, he's the show. Not even kind of been, it's been like that. So it was funny though, because who was there? The legend of Cordell Patterson was there. You know what I mean?
Oh, true. And I love last week when they saw Justin Fields doing well. Nagy said, we need to figure out what we did differently.
Yeah.
Everyone except you knows what was different.
You were at home. Stay at home.
But what's funny is like if immediately after that tweet, they were like, they fired him because then it was like, that's what we needed to do. It's not.
They're like, we figured it out for you. Don't worry. You can go home. What about Christian McCaffrey? Who are you starting him over? Or I guess who are you starting over Christian McCaffrey? Like what range would you have him in?
It's just one of those things. If I don't necessarily care if they say he's going to get limited snaps or whatever. Like if he plays and he looks good, they won't take him off. That's another team that makes poor decisions. Like I don't think he should play, and I don't think he plays. I think this is just something they waited all the way down for Belichick. You know what I mean? To be like he has to game plan for CMC, but if he does play, you just start him. He's the unicorn. You know what I mean? He's the one. He's the one of one. He's the 1A, 1B for people. You throw him in there because that he's always that threat to finish the top 3. He's CMC.
Yeah, I can't figure out. There can't possibly be a roster where somebody has CMC and they're like, you know what? I'm comfortable with the garbage I've been putting into the running back slot for the last couple of weeks. Let me roll with them.
Like I'm going Derrick Henry.
Would you start Jeremy McNichols over him?
I would not.
Okay. How about I'm going up rankings right now through people. Yeah. How about Chase Edmonds?
Yeah, I'd start him over Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds there's only been a couple games where Chase Edmonds gets more than 12 touches.
And it is a tough matchup for Chase Edmonds with the Niners.
Yeah. And here's the thing is like if he's only gonna get 12 if CMC is limited, say he only gets 12, 15 touches, that's a Chase Edmonds workload right there. But it's just more.
Here's where I think it starts getting interesting, though. Joe Mixon.
Not playing Joe Mixon. I'm playing Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I think that's like the range I have him in is right in there.
That's so tough because like I just don't like Mixon's matchup, and he's for me just like a pure matchup play at this point. Nothing against the guy, but like how they use him, I just can't trust it. So I would still go CMC over Mixon if he's active.
Okay. How about Cordell Patterson?
God, I don't want to sit Cordell Patterson ever.
Yeah, see, that's why I got to ask the tough questions.
If you somehow have a lineup with these guys, just take your victory.
Well, and I mean, it's complete. Like you could have, let's say, Austin Eckler, CMC, and Cordell Patterson on a lineup, right?
Yeah. And here's the
thing. If you do, God bless you.
Yeah, that means you survived without CMC, right? So you probably could pass on this. Here's another caveat for why I would like CMC. Just if he plays in general, is like this is a bad run defense. Like New England is like really bend don't break for real, right? You know they'll let you get yards underneath. They'll let you take everything underneath. Yeah. And you know what I mean. So that CMC got that going for him. You know what I mean.
Yeah, he will take all.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get to our starts of the week from. I agree with Jay. It's weird calling another man daddy, but Maddie Daddy.
Oh, welcome in, everybody. Please be seated. We will get to the plug later on, but we have important matters to discuss. We're talking A.J. Dillon as a must-stop for Week 9. Hallelujah! We're talking against his Kansas City defense, tied for third most rushing touchdowns given up. This, to me, is a scream, a plea for help. This is 7th most rushing yards. The Packers have no Aaron Rodgers. I'm expecting 40 rushing attempts in Week 9. Hallelujah! To the plug, Jay the Plug, preaching to the choir, my man, talking the labyrinth. That's the old. We're in with the new. We're talking plug. So plug, call it grace. I'm here to save you. Repent of your sins and join the winning side of fantasy football. The starts, not the sits. Everybody wants to win. And that's what the Matty Daddies do every single week. So, Jay, as you talk the talk with that top hat, remember, Matty Daddy on Sunday mornings, whoa, is coming for that belt. Jay, I'm going to give you a little bit of an offer. I'm going to send you some money. Jay Plug with the top hat. The top hat. Everybody loves a top hat. I hate it. But I love Sunday mornings, and I love clock management, and I love praising the Lord. Call it grace, call it winning. Winning on Sundays. Amen.
Man, we really got to get a ring and get them together.
Oh, listen, bro, we're working on it. I'm the special guest referee. It's going down.
For the record, love that start of the week. I think people are expecting this to be, because Kansas City's defense is terrible. Like, oh, fire up Jordan Love. And maybe, but I think it's much more Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I have Dillon pretty high, I think, or pretty high in my rankings, above Myles Gaskin, if that means anything.
He's A.J. Dillon is he's getting a workload of like a mid-range RB2. If he falls into the end zone, like, you know what I mean, that's gonna put him up. It's gonna put him up high this week. This is also a shot for Matt LaFleur to show the world, like, I don't need Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? My scheme works, because whoever runs that Shanahan, just like Shanahan, they're kind of arrogant. They think they can win with anyone. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah.
Like,
James Robinson just came up as being out as well.
Okay, I expected that.
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's official now. If you have James Robinson, get him out of your lineup.
All right, it's all happening.
I'm going to my DMs because for some reason in the morning people like to DM me start set questions. I'm like, you guys realize I do a live every Sunday morning.
Get in here. Come on.
Please. There was hold on, it's taking me a second to find this.
I've been eating all the kids' Halloween candy all week. They don't even know it.
You earned it. Let's be honest.
While I get into my messages, Jake, what were you for Halloween? Did you dress up?
No, I'm disappointed in myself. I didn't dress up at all.
I just imagined you would.
Yeah, like last year I dressed up as Macho Man. The year before I dressed up as Wolverine, but like I didn't do anything this year. We were tailgating for the Wisconsin Badgers game, and it just overlapped into Halloween night, and it was too much.
Okay. I made it into my messages.
I was actually Hollywood Hogan last week.
Yeah, I did a podcast with you. I was the Bernie Sanders meme with the mittens.
Classic and cozy.
Right? I know me and my wife went out and she had on like a typical, female costume.
Just cold. Cold all night.
Yeah. And I'm like, I am perfectly cozy walking around the city. So
that's the way to do it.
So start Bateman or Mike Williams?
Like I said, I love Bateman, and we'll have to see, I guess, if he gets full clearance. But Mike Williams has just gotten dogged so much because I know he's had some bad games, but I'm still not in the mode that Mike Williams has been written out of their game plans or anything like that. I think it's just been borderline fluky where he just hasn't produced. I'd go Williams here.
Yeah. I was reading about Herbert's having like a hand injury, and that kind of makes sense because it all times around when Mike Williams' production kind of dropped, because he literally had 4 straight good weeks and it was like 3 straight bad weeks. So I'm with you. I'm not giving up on Mike Williams. The Eagles and the Chargers defense are actually at the top of the league of limiting opposing fantasy QBs. So that usually falls over into the receivers. But it also could mean that because both these teams have terrible run defenses, so maybe teams aren't passing on them, so that stat could be skewed. You know what I mean? I'm going with Mike Williams. I mean, it's going to be Darius Slay, Mike Williams all day. This is going to be like, we don't see too many corners shadow as much. This is going to be like entertaining as well. But I like Mike Williams a lot.
What do you guys think about Kenny Gallaudet?
I don't think much of him.
Yeah. I had such high hopes for this guy.
Yeah, and it sucks that he never got to really start when everybody else was banged up, because that's what he needs to thrive. Like, he has to be the only guy there because he's not a top of the line receiver, so he needs the default volume, and he hasn't gotten that. And I don't know that maybe this is the game for him. Do we know if everybody else is good on that team? Like, is Kadarius Toney for sure?
There's still no. Oh, there's a bunch of news that just came out. So I'm looking right now.
If he ends up, one of two healthy receivers, basically, for their main guys, then yes, I think there is hope for Gallaudet. If not, if the whole gaggle is back together, then I don't like it.
Toney he's in. I think all of them are active.
I just don't have hope. No, then I'm sorry.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just, and that offense isn't just it's not like a prolific offense where it can produce multiple wide receivers anyway. And I feel like it's just sprinkled between all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So with what Robinson being out, would you go Boston Scott or Carlos Hyde in PPR?
I'd go find another game to play, because this sounds depressing as hell. Right? I would go take a walk outside. I would go Boston Scott.
Yeah, I don't like the situation, but I think I gotta agree with you, unfortunately.
Chargers are bad against the run, so I mean that's on. I mean, because Buffalo is phenomenal against the run, and Carlos Hyde really is just like Urban Meyer's boy. You know what I mean?
I would put him in my lineup, and then I would immediately turn my phone off and not look at it again, because I don't want to sit there staring at him in my lineup. That'd be depressing.
Oh, 0.3. He got 0.3. Okay, great. Can we get to 0.8? Fellas, we got 0.8. All right, that's going to be what you're looking at all the game long.
I mean, that was me watching Thursday night game with Mo Alley Cox in my lineup. I'm like, all right, fourth quarter, we got 0.0. Okay, come on, one catch, you can do it. And then he got it for me, and I literally jumped off the couch because I was excited for one catch.
Gross.
Yeah, we did it. We did it.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. Do you guys have any? Well, first of all, Jake, where can people find you?
They can find me being a knucklehead on Twitter at Jake Trowbridge. But I got a couple of podcasts. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you can find me at Drinking and Talking Fantasy Football. You can find me on the Ball Blast Football podcast. Thursdays, you can find me at Harris Football doing the DFS segment over there. And otherwise, I'm just, I'm hanging out. I'm around.
Did you say Chris Harris?
Yeah.
Hey,
the man.
He is awesome.
The myth.
He's so cool. He really is. That dude is so cool.
And listen, man, I'm familiar with your work because Clock put me onto your stuff like a little while ago. And yeah, man, that's you definitely are of that ilk of the Chris Harris, and I'm like, yeah, that's awesome.
That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, Bogart. So I will take that. One day I'll hope to get to the Chris Harris level.
And for real, like, not only do you give great fantasy advice, but you're entertaining as well. That's like something I love about like following you on Twitter, for example. Like you give great fantasy advice and then you're entertaining. So it's not one or the other. So because
I appreciate that. Yeah. I try.
And
there's a lot of people out there that give a lot of great analysis, but it's very dry and boring. And then there's a lot of people out there who are very entertaining, but give really bad fantasy advice.
But it's also funny when like the bland people, like the bland analysts, like boring ones, when they're wrong. That's hilarious to me.
You like to go in on the blandalists after they've had a rough week?
Yeah, it's like, you were wrong.
Yeah, and you were boring when you were wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Be boring and right. Do better.
Right.
Do better.
All right. Well, I'm gonna end this so we can start our own or set our own lineups and hopefully win. So good luck to you, gentlemen, this week, and we'll see everyone next week.
Peace.
What's up, everyone? This is Clock Management. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm your host, Bogart Scott-Free. We're going to get right into this thing.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.